Hectic, hectic. This one is hectic. Okay, what's happening there? Let me try to explain it. To simplify it, they say that the debt has debit balance of 1,000 rand. A debit balance, debtors control. Debtors control is an asset. It increases on the debit, decreases on the credit. 1,000 rand. They say that this person must owing us 1,000 rand. A debit balance in debtors control simply means that a person was basically owing us. They are saying that that balance you're supposed to transfer it to, we're supposed to transfer it to the creditor slash. So what happened there is like this. It's more like our creditor came into a business. Our creditor came into a business and buy goods on credit. So our creditor came into a business and bought goods on credit to the value of 1,000 rand. So after they came into a business to buy goods to the value of 1,000 rand, obviously they will be owing us, right? 1,000 rand. Let me make an example. Let's just say currently you are my creditor and then I'm owing you. Let's just say that I'm owing you 20,000 rand. And then you decided to come into my business to buy goods to the value of 1,000 rand. You'll be both my debtor and also my credit. I'll consider you as my debtor because of the fact that you're owing me 1,000 rand, right? But then also I'll consider you as my creditor because I owe you 20,000 rand. Do you understand my explanation before I proceed?
Yes, but does it mean that on the 1,000 rand, I'm gonna
You gonna?
like my debt is gonna be deducted based on like the amount that is left that you owe me?
So in our adjustment, as we are explaining, we said that I owe you that you I owe you 20,000. Obviously, if I ever owe you 20,000 rand, will be my credit. And then owe you, I'll just you. And then when you owe me 1,000 rand, I'll write me. So if ever you are owing me 1,000 rand, I cannot expect you to pay me 1,000 rand, right? Because I have a huge debt in which I'm owing you. The best way in which I can do this thing, the best way in which you can do this thing is by saying that, okay, since I owe you 20,000 rand, there's no need for you to pay me. How am I going to do that? I'll cancel you, meaning you'll no longer be my debt. I'll cancel you, meaning you no longer be my debtor, but then rather the debts in which you owe me, pardon me, but then rather the debts in which I owe you will decrease. I'll say that I no longer owe you 20,000 rand. I owe you how much? In that 20,000 rand, I'll minus the one that you owe me, which is 19,000 rand. Meaning right now, I'll say that you now owe me 19,000. You now owe me 19,000 rand. So why did I say that? I say that you'll cancel the debt in which you owe me. Meaning in my data's control, what am I going to do? In my data's control, I'm going to say minus 1,000 rand. I'll say that, okay, I'm not going to consider you as my data. I'll write off that amount, right? I'll write off that amount that I wrote in my data's control. Since I owe you very significant amount. In my data's control, I'll say 90,000 rand. And also in my creditors control, I'll debit that 1,000 rand, meaning I'll minus it. So in a creditors control, we're supposed to say minus 1,000 rand. Will decrease the debt. Yeah, in our creditors control, will decrease the debt, which amounts to 20,000 rand. What are you, okay, you can ask?
So meaning that like we have two books, which is for our creditors and debtors.
Yes, and
So
also,
meaning that we have to like
Mhm.
we have to do like the correction on both books.
Yeah, also here in our data, you're supposed to say minus. Also, you have to minus 1,000 rand here. That person no longer consider him as our debt. No longer consider him as our debt. So write him off in your books as a debtor in which we did there. Then let us do our trading other payable. So how are we going to do that? We'll say 261,000 plus 2,800 minus 1,000. And we should get 262,800. And then there's this item that we omitted to record. We call it SARS income tax. Apologies, we call it SARS income tax. SARS income tax, basically, we are recording the outstanding tax in which we still owe our SARS, in which we still owe SARS. SARS income tax is basically the SARS that you still owe SARS. SARS income tax. Let me make an example. Let's just say that we're owing SARS 1,000 rand as our income tax. But then instead of us paying 1,000 rand, we decided to pay 800 rand. It simply means that we are going to owe SARS. How much are we going to owe SARS? We'll say 1,000 rand minus 800 rand. And then we'll say 200 rand is the amount of tax that I still owe. And then we'll record it here. SARS income tax, we record the outstanding tax that you still owe SARS. So in our income statement, remember that our income tax amounted to 750. Let me show you the amount. In your income statement, our income tax amounted to 750,000 rand. Therefore, we were obliged to pay 750,000 rand towards our tax. 750. $750,000. But then let us check the provisional payments that we did. 750. Let us check the provisional payments. We're supposed to pay 750,000. Let us check the provisional payment that we did. So the provisional payment that we did, this is a provisional payment. You're supposed to, when I only did 725, you only paid 725 towards your income tax. 725. Only made 725. So for income tax, we're owing how much? 750. But then instead of you paying 750, how much did you make? You made 725 as your payment, meaning you are still owing SARS. You are still owing SARS how much? The difference between the two amounts, which amounts to 25,000. So SARS income tax, we say 750 minus 725. And then I think in our structure, we omitted this SARS income tax, and in which I sincerely apologize. So that we are going to record that 25,000 yen. And then we are basically done. Let's add our current liability. We'll say 262,800 plus 55,200 plus 875,600. And lastly, add it with 25,000 so that we get the total of our current liability. And then in which we'll get 218,600 here. Oh no, sorry, not. What did I record? Not 200, 1,218,000. Do you get the same bit?
But mine ends with 600 instead of the.
Okay, recalculate it again. Let's do it step by step. Start the procedure. 262,800 plus 55,200 plus 875,600 and lastly plus 25,000. Yeah, you're correct. I'm the one who made a mistake. Thank you there. And then let's get the total equity and liability. For us to get total equity and liability, we'll say shareholders' equity, in which our shareholders' equity amounts to 524,400. We'll add it with our non-current liability, meaning we'll say plus 207,000. And then lastly, we'll add it with our what? With our current liability. And then our current liability amounts to 1,218,600. And then we get 9,950,000.
Did we do our cash and cash equivalent?
We're coming back to it. Let's do this thing. 9,950,000. We'll come back to it. And then we know that this is the balance sheet. Your balance sheet should balance, meaning your total equity and liability balance. Total equity and liability balance should be the same as your total asset balance. So this also will be 9,950,000. Here the balance also will be 9,950,000 rand. 950,000. And then we know that for you to get this balance, alternatively, you can look it by saying non-current plus current asset, in which you get this balance. But in this situation, we start from the bottom going upwards. Therefore, we'll say this balance minus a non-current asset balance. We'll say total asset balance minus our non-current asset balance, meaning we'll say 9,950,000 minus 8,950,000. And then we get you'll get your current asset balance, in which it amounts to 1 million. Is it 1 million? Yeah, 1 million. 1 million. And then these are total. You got it? And then we know that for us to get our current asset balance, we say inventory, trade receivable, plus your cash and cash equivalent. Therefore, we'll say what? You say your 1 million, you'll do vice versa. 1 million minus 191,900 minus 315,700. And then we get your cash and cash, which is your balancing figure. Cash and cash, which is your balancing figure, which amounts to 492,400. Okay, is that clear? Are we perfectly fine? You have questions that you have to attend?
Everything is clear.